I think that there's simple problems that can be solved, like homeless people, you know. Like, man, if you just build apartments, like, in a few places, build nice stuff, you know. Like, we have, like, Dubai and stuff like that where you build really nice looking buildings, you know. But I think that people should be living in 2, 3 bed apartments or homes rather than living in, like, 1 bedroom apartments where you can't even make it a life for yourself, you know. Like, and then after that, people are, like, working their bollocks off just to pay off a 1 bed apartment, you know. It's just ridiculousness. I don't understand why people would even do that, you know. Like, it's just madness, you know. Like, people working for other people, you know. Like, people should be getting 2, 3 bed apartments and then being put back into the workforce, you know, like, by picking up rubbish or by driving around, or, like, people should be getting, like, help to be able to drive so that you can pick up a job easier, you know. And, like, people should be working, like, less hours, you know. Like, I think that instead of doing 2 drops a day, do, like, 1 drop a day. Like, you know, like, do fill up your van once and then that's it, your day's done. And then the next person comes in at 3 o'clock and does the other load, you know. Like, but people should be getting paid more, you know, so that people actually can have a standard of living that's interesting. Like, that you can have an interesting life and you can go out and party if you want to party. But, like, people need to understand that, like, working is great, you know. It gets your mind off things, you know. Like, it stops you doing drugs and stuff like that. Like, you know, like, it helps you out a lot, you know. Like, you meet people, like, just get references off people, you know. Like, if you're picking up rubbish and stuff like that, like, for your first 2 years, you know, like, just go into work every day and be good at work, you know. And, like just do your best job, and then you get good references if you don't have a job before, you know. Like, you get good references and then you can build your way up into something, you know. But, like, even at that, like, I just think that people have this world all wrong, you know. Like, I just think that drugs are good, you know. Like, drugs are good, you know. Like, they help people come together and stuff like that. Like, they explore your mind, you know. Like, I remember doing Salvia for the first time and I was like, whoa, just on this mad trip, you know, seeing the future and all. And then people can't even remember the days I was with them, you know. Like, it's so hard, you know. Like, I had great days when I was with my friends and, like, they just don't remember anything, you know. Like, I predicted the future one day. I was in Stephen's Green and I was, like, looking on Salvia, just tripping balls, and then I was like, wow, look at that guy juggling over there, he's amazing. He was juggling, like, 3 or 4 different things, you know, like, well, 5 or 6 different things, and it was just, like, amazing, you know. And they were like, what are you talking about, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, he came around the corner and they were like, oh, I see him now, you know. I saw the future, you know. And then, like, I'm talking to, like, I was with my manager who was in work that, like, I went to work with, and we went out and we just sort of, like, I just chilled and smoked salvia, and I was, like, out of my bracket, you know. And he was just, like, talking to me and stuff like that, like, you know, like, having a perfect day. And then I went back to him and I was like, do you remember that day that I smoked salvia and I saw the future? And he was like, no, what are you talking about? And he has no recollection of that day, you know. Like, he doesn't remember any drugs being taken or anything like that, like, you know, even though I was, like, out of my bracket, you know. Like, I remember it perfectly, you know. Like, the stuff that happened in my life that, like, if people were to realise, like, what actually happened, like, I'd be known as a hero, you know. Like, I've saved the world several times, you know. Like, I'm just trying to save the world again, you know, like, by just saving homeless people, you know, and, like, kids in Africa and stuff like that. Like, you know, like, I read of some guy who was in India or somewhere like that, and he went out every day. He walked for miles and miles and miles and planted a tree every day. And then he had his own personal oasis, you know. Like, we can do that. We can reclaim the land, you know, by planting trees and stuff like that, like, you know. And we need trees to survive, you know. Like, stop just looking for, like, land for cows and stuff like that. Like, we need trees, you know. Like, build trees, you know. Like, trees are great, you know. But, like, you need to reclaim the desert land, you know. Like, it's possible, you know. Like, and if you reclaim half the desert, then, like, that's like 50% more space for people to, like, go and, like, build their own houses and stuff like that, like, you know, and live in a perfect land, you know, like, but you need to build wells and stuff like that as well, you know, like, and it's possible, like, you know, like, people do build wells rather than having people going walking for days to get, like, get their water and stuff like that, like, you know, like, it's just simple things, you know, like, build wells, plant trees, like, save the homeless people, you know, like, there's so many people that can be saved, you know, like, this planet is, like, perfect, you know, like, we've got mobile phones, we've got music, we got TV, we got videos, you have DVDs, you have, like, everything, you know, like, we have Sky Go, we have Sky Q, where you can watch two different things in one, like, you can watch it in one place and then take it to another place, you know, like, we have everything, you know, like, it's only gonna get better, you know, like, the ideas that, like, people are having right now are, like, incredible, you know, like, this is the space age, you know, like, where we actually do something with ourselves, you know, like, people should be going to space, you know, like, on holidays, you know, like, and looking down at the earth going, well, that's amazing, you know, it shouldn't only be a selected few, you know, like, people should be building stuff that, like, will be able to take people out there on a regular occasion, you know, like, just go out for a month or something, that, like, just to go to space, you know, like, and just chill out and just enjoy life up there, you know, like, and, like, understand that, like, maybe a month's too much, you know, but, like, people need to, like, if you're working overnights, people need to be working with somebody else, you know, like, it should be two people on rather than just one, you know, like, give you something to be preoccupied, you can talk to somebody, you know, and, like, you can discuss things and not be just monetarily, like, walking around like an absolute zombie going, oh, can't wait for this to go, wait for your bed, you know, like, you can actually be talking to somebody while you're working, you know, and, like, there's people in here that work, like, 3 days in a row, like, you know, like, it's ridiculous, you know, like, I don't understand how they can work here, you know, like, I wouldn't be able to do that, like, they sleep over here, you know, like, they don't go home at all, you know, there's a bed here for them, you know, and, like, it's just, like, why would you work that long, like, why can't you not get an extra person in that will cover them days, you know, like, you should only be doing one day and then have two people working at night, you know, like, there's only one person working at night, the other person sleeps, you know, but I think that if you had two people on, you'd have another bed for somebody else, and you'd have, like, more employment, you know, like, it's possible, you know, like, we're all paying enough money to, like, to pay for people's wages and stuff like that, like, you know, like, it's possible, you know, like, all you need to do is go, hang on a minute, let's all change our policies on stuff, you know, like, and get the government to pay extra for people's wages, you know, like, people should be getting double the money what they're getting, you know, so you have a proper life and you can live a proper life and you can go and you can see the pyramids or go see the Great Wall of China or go see the Grand Canyon or anything like that, you know, like, it is possible, you know, like, people are living like absolute idiots, you know, like, just working for the man, you know, you're working for the fucking man, you know, like, work for yourself, you know, like, and understand that, like, drugs are great, man, like, shit, like, if people tried them, you'd understand why people are addicted to them, you know, like, because they just make you feel so great, you know, and then, like, people are taking these drugs that make you feel like absolute shit, you know, like, people are being prescribed them, you know, and, like, I'm looking at people going, man, it's making it even worse, you know, like, shit, man, makes you even worse, and they're giving you them, you know, why can't you not just take a recreational drug that makes people feel good, you know, like, shit, man, take ease or something that, like, you know, like, and, like, be mellow, man, you know, like, smoke a bit of weed and stuff like that, like, you know, like, everything is good, man, but, like, people just think shit is bad for you, and because you think it's bad, it turns out to be bad, you know, like, I'm living here, and, like, people are doing stuff, and, like, they're all grand, you know, like, but I'm taking, like, these mental pills that, like, are meant to be prescribed for people, but I just took them on a recreational basis, you know, and, like, I don't remember a thing, you know, like, I'm waking up the next day going, what the fuck happened, losing all my money, losing things, you know, like, I'm waking up the next day going, what the fuck just happened there, you know, like, don't even recognise what's going on, like, that's what they're giving you, you know, like, why can't you not take a drug that you remember stuff by, you know, like, taking coke and stuff like that. Like, you know, coke makes you feel great. You know, like if we were getting pure stuff in, you'd feel great all the fucking time. You know, like people are getting stuff that's being mixed down with absolute shit. You know, like the shit that's bad for you. You know, like I've heard of like heroin being mixed down with rat poison and stuff like that. Like, you know, like and like being mixed down with absolute shit. You know, like I want to try heroin. You know, but like I don't want to try it too early. Like, you know, but like there's ways of doing things. You know, like people think that like heroin is just all about injecting. You know, whereas if you inject, you lose your arms and your legs, and you lose like parts of your body and stuff like that. Like, you know, you get something like, I forget what they're called, cirrhosis. I don't know, but you get stuff that's bad for you anyway. You know, like they just grow in your arm. That like if they can't get the pus out, then they're gonna have to cut your arm off. You know, like that's what needles do. You know, why can't you not just smoke it, get a good buzz and have a good time, and then be like, grand, yeah, like that was interesting. You know, rather than going, I want the whole lot. I want to get the injection. I want to feel whacked out of my brain. You know, like you can get enough off fucking smoking it. You know, like you don't have to shoot up every time. You know. But I don't know, like I've tried coke and stuff like that, I've tried crack, I've tried everything really, you know. Everything really except for fucking bath salt.